On a sunny morning on a remote beach on the southern tip of South Korea, Taehyung and Jungkook stand by the sea, gazing at the seemingly endless expanse of blue. The sea breeze hit their faces, carrying a characteristic salty aroma. In front of them, a small, simple wooden boat bobbed on a calm wave. That day, they decide to do something different, a journey that will take them away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and bring them closer to the wonders of nature. Taehyung, with his characteristic zeal, was the first to propose this idea. "Hyung," he said to Jungkook one night while they were chatting under a starry sky, "shall we go to the sea? Not for concerts, not for work. Just the two of us. Stay away for a while." Jungkook, who is known for his adventurous nature, immediately nodded in agreement. This trip is not only about exploring nature, but also about celebrating their friendship that has been established over the years. They began their journey in the early morning, when the sun was just peeking out from behind the horizon. The small boat, although modest, was well prepared. Inside there are paddles, life jackets, and some provisions such as mineral water, snacks, and sea maps. Taehyung, with a big smile on his face, takes a position at the front of the boat, while Jungkook holds the oars and sets the direction. As the boat begins to move away from the shore, they feel the spirit of adventure rising in the chest. Small waves create a soothing rhythmic sound, as if accompanying their journey. The sea that stretched out before seemed so vast and mysterious, provoking both curiosity and respect. Taehyung, who has always had an artistic eye, could not resist capturing the moment with his small Polaroid camera. "Look at this, Jungkook," he said, pointing to a seagull flying low above the surface of the water. Click. A photo was taken, capturing the bird right in the middle of its expanding wings. "It will be an unforgettable memory," he added enthusiastically. However, their journey is not only filled with sheer beauty. After a few hours of rowing, they began to feel the challenge from nature. The previously clear skies suddenly turned cloudy. The wind blew harder, and the waves began to roll larger. Their small boat was adrift in the middle of an increasingly violent sea. Taehyung and Jungkook, though excited, can't hide the worry on their faces. "We have to stay calm," Jungkook said, trying to reassure Taehyung and himself. He holds the oars tightly, trying to control the boat so that it remains stable. Taehyung, who is usually cheerful, looks serious this time. He helped Jungkook by taking out a small bucket to drain the water into the boat. They worked together without saying much, focusing only on dealing with the situation at hand. However, the storm did not last long. As if hearing their prayers, the wind began to subside, and the waves calmed down again. The sky slowly brightened again, showing a beautifully curved rainbow in the distance. Taehyung and Jungkook looked at each other, then laughed in relief. "It's crazy," Taehyung said breathlessly, "but it's also amazing." Their journey continues with a lighter mood. They found a small, seemingly uninhabited island in the middle of the sea. Full of curiosity, they decided to get closer and explore it. The island is full of shady trees, white sandy beaches, and the sound of birds chirping. They feel like real explorers, discovering new places they have never seen before on the island. They decided to take a break. Taehyung pulls out the small guitar he brought, then starts playing the songs they like. Jungkook, with his melodious voice, sings along, creating a harmony that merges with the sounds of nature. The moment felt so magical, as if the world belonged to just the two of them. The night came, and they decided to spend the night on the island. With improvised equipment, they made campfires and cooked simple meals. Under the starry night sky, they talked about many things: dreams, childhood memories, and hopes for the future. Taehyung, who is famous for his philosophy of life, said, "I think life is like the sea, Jungkook. Sometimes calm, sometimes choppy. But if we keep rowing, we'll get to a beautiful place." Jungkook just smiled at those words. He knew that this journey had given him more than just experience. He felt closer to Taehyung, to nature, and to himself. This adventure is a reminder that life is not only about the destination, but also about enjoying every moment along the way. The next day, they continued on their way back to the beach where they started. The journey home was easier, perhaps because they had learned so much from the previous day. When their boat finally reached the shore, they were greeted by the setting sun, creating such a beautiful and moving scene. Taehyung and Jungkook step out of the boat, then stand for a moment looking at the now calm sea. They know this adventure will be a memory they will keep forever. With a warm hug, they ended the journey, bringing home valuable lessons about courage, friendship, and the beauty of nature. In their hearts, one thing becomes clear. The world is too vast and beautiful not to explore, and their friendship is a treasure that they will always keep in the midst of any challenges that may come. After returning to the beach, they sat together on the sand, letting their feet sink in the soft sand that was still warm from the remnants of the sun's heat. The sea in front of them seemed to change, as if it were a giant mirror reflecting the orange and red colors of the twilight sky. The atmosphere was so soothing, and they enjoyed the rare silence. No noise of city crowds, no demands of work, just them, nature, and the sound of waves repeatedly hitting the shore. Jungkook takes a bottle of water and hands it to Taehyung. "Hyung, I think this trip made me realize something," she said slowly, trying to choose the right words. "We often get stuck in a routine, busy with schedules, and forget what it's like to really be alive. But here, in this sea, I feel free, like no burden at all." Taehyung looked at Jungkook with a gentle smile. He knew exactly what his friend meant. "You're right, Jungkook," he replied. "Sometimes we focus too much on what lies ahead, forgetting to see the beauty that is around us. This sea reminds me to pause, take a breath, and be grateful." That night, before returning to their inn, Taehyung and Jungkook decide to sit on the beach longer. The stars began to appear in the sky, one by one, until finally the night sky became a small dancing sea of light. Taehyung, who had always had an artistic soul, lay on the sand and pointed to the sky. "Look at that, Jungkook. These stars have been here long before we were born, and they will remain there long after we are gone. Remembering that makes all our problems feel small, huh?" Jungkook, who was lying next to her, nodded in agreement. "Yes, Hyung. But I think that's what makes our lives worthwhile. Since our time is limited, we must make sure that we really fill it with meaningful things." It was the perfect ending to their journey that day. The next morning, they wake up early to enjoy the sunrise once again before returning to everyday life. Taehyung, with his Polaroid camera, captured the moment when the sun first touched the horizon line. "I want this photo to remind me," she says with a smile, "that there is always a new beginning, even after a dark night." Their journey home was filled with stories and laughter. In the car, Taehyung and Jungkook play their favorite songs and sing them out loud. They promise to plan more adventures like this in the future, although knowing their schedule may not always be possible. However, what they have experienced together will always be a reminder that sometimes, taking the time to explore and enjoy life is the most important thing. Arriving home, they both feel refreshed, both physically and mentally. Their friends, who heard the story of the trip, were envious but also inspired. They ask about the most memorable experience, and Taehyung just smiles. "Everything works," he said.